Three. So hello everyone, welcome back again, one of the fresh and engaging episode of Grow with Anshuman. And today we have someone very special, Roma ma'am with us. Hi ma'am, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, not only today, but every day. Thank you so much.
All right, so
How are you? How are you?
I'm absolutely doing insane. Thank you for asking.
Nice to hear that.
And since we are meeting for the first time, I would like you to introduce quickly so that our learners could know more about you before we dive into something very specific. Yeah, over to you.
Okay, so if I have to introduce myself very quickly, though I find it pretty challenging because it's a lot that I have done to be here. So, but still, I would say I'm Roma, as my name has already been introduced by you, and I'm somebody who has completed my rest of the stuff, which has to be for the trainer level and all that. I've done my master's in not only psychology but also in English, because that has been something which I had been really looking forward since I was a student, a college student. I always wanted to find a way to be somebody whom unfortunately I could not find, which is called as good teachers. So yes, that was the main reason why I be here, and I have been into this profession. Like for spoken English, I started my journey as a spoken English trainer, which followed by the competitive examinations, which were first confined to some of the borders, like borders of UP or something. But then, as you know, when a lady comes up, she has to forget the borders first. So yes, I did the same, and I started crossing the borders, and now I'm also making the people or the students and my all the students out there, all the people, those who are looking for their career in every part or any of the places in India or abroad. I'm helping them to make their dreams come true. So yes, I am that genie. I think so.
Lovely introduction. You covered almost all those aspects of your personality. I love that. And few of the point I really wanted to double down is first, you have also done the masters in psychology. Does it really help you to just understand the students' mindset better to help them to better their speaking English or maybe any of the part where they wanted to be?
See, when it comes about studying psychology, many of the people they believe that once you have few of the books, this thick books, and yes, after that you can go into the layers of the brain. I'm so sorry, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Because I really opted for that so that I could really enter into the brains of people, but that is not how exactly it works. What I have found out of my experience, my personal experience, is that if you have to understand a student, you have to be a student. And being one, if you say that, if that's why when you said that introduce yourself in short, it was difficult for me because so many personalities when I meet in a day also after hour and hour and hour, every time I have to change mine as well because I bringing student to my level all of a sudden is impossible. But for me, going to that level is pretty easier.
Correct.
So what I believe is first I have to be with my student to
Mhm.
go along with that. This is how I basically feel like. And the psychology, the other thing what I feel like is most of the time what I have seen, many of the students, like 99% students, they say that, ma'am, whatever people speak, I can understand. If you give me to write, I can write. But the moment it comes to go from this side, my outgoing is khatam. I need to go for some other recharge. So that recharge has to be done because the only concept over there is there are three major mistakes that everyone needs to work on. Mistake number one, English is not about fluency, and fluency is not about unbreakable sentences. Second thing, changing the accent, like what are you doing? When the excuse me, sorry, that's not English. Because everyone brought up into their that is their essence. You don't have to be a copycat. You have to be an OG of your own self. And third important thing is between you and English, there is just a word that is called hesitation. There is no other qualification that you're lagging. Absolutely fine. It is to stop hiding behind excuses. Go for it.
Lovely. I mean, I could have talked on those topics what you mentioned lately too, but thank you for bringing those topics quite early. And I love the energy because that's where you mentioned something. You actually chose this profession out of passion because you actually wanted to help people. And these days, I have found people, they came into teaching not by passion. They just came there by chance, not by choice. And I love that aspect of your personality. That's where you can bring a lot of enthusiasm towards helping people. So, my question would be coming now to the English spoken thing, because a lot of learners do have a lot of mistakes. Even before even jumping to learn this language, they might have a lot of myths, which you might have brushed across all those teaching people. So, what are 3 to 4 myths? If anybody comes to you, they do have already preconceived notions. If you'll have to talk a little bit about that, would be good to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, See, the first and foremost myth that I have found in most of the people, that is, ma'am, I know all the grammar. Like I know all the grammar. It's just that I cannot fix it. The point is, it's not that you know the grammar that you are talking about. You are talking about the books which you have opened and you consider yourself as into English. Second most important thing is English is no subject. Excuse me, everybody out there, whoever is listening to me. English is no subject. It's a language and it's the international language now. You need to learn the language. You don't have to pass the stuff. When it comes to examination, I can understand. But when it comes to English, especially speaking, right? And the other myth is that the people, you know what, like, let's say, when I'll give you an example.
Hmm?
My students, most of the time, they say that, ma'am, I think I'm speaking right. But when I look at the faces, it makes me feel that I'm going somewhere wrong. I'm like, and then I always say to them, why the hell were you looking to the faces? I mean, like, what makes you look at the faces? Why are you into the barter system of selling and buying the confidence? It's yours.
Correct.
Go with that. And the most important, the king of all the myth is how to express it in the best way. There is nothing which is called best way in English. It is either my way, your way, or highway. It is no best way. So, whatever you speak, only in that you have to grow. Wherever the flaws are there, the masters are there to help you. And if you're lucky enough, you will get me.
Sure. Perfect. So I think someone has a lot of things in their mind before even coming to this language. I think we need to break those things before learning something. And you're really putting the points together. I wanted to talk more on first the confidence, because some people, I don't know how they believe that some people are born with the confidence, but they are being misleaded with this fact that every master starts with a beginning, right? Everything starts with a zero.
Yes.
So what's your take on
Yes.
this confidence level? If someone is just starting, having said that they don't have
Uh-huh.
any belief thing, that they haven't spoken before, they haven't been performed well, how do they build a basic confidence to open their mouth? Because that's where they can learn the things faster in terms of what is speaker.
See, many of the times, I'll tell you, this is the best question I would say, Anshuman, because many of the time there are some people those who say that, ma'am, I want to be a part of the group because in group I'll meet so many people, I'll listen to so many people, and hence I would learn. But what I hear, the reality is, ma'am, put me into the group so that there are so many people to speak before me and I can hide somewhere at the back. So, first thing that a person is learning, the very first thing that a person is supposed to do is to have first one on one with someone who is no judge to you.
Right.
Because a very simple question I'll ask you, Anshuman, a very simple question. If there is, let's say, you are having a glass, right? And in that glass, at the bottom, you can see a sort of mud. And I ask you, you cannot drop it this ways. You cannot go downwards. You can only have, like, the glass has to be this ways. You cannot put your hands inside. You cannot tilt the glass, but still you have to take out that mud out of the glass. And I want at the end of the day, the glass has to be clean, and if possible, have the clean water as well. How would you do?
For me, it would be impossible if I can't stir it, or maybe I can't pour the water.
Right. I mean, now you gave me the answer. It's not that it is impossible, Anshuman. You did not give much of it because you were knowing this, maybe the second party would have the answer. This is the very first thing that happens. When a student or any client wants to go with English, they are expecting everything out of you.
Right.
So, what they are doing, actually, they are selling their own confidence, whatever they have a little bit also. So, the simple thing is just take that glass with the mud, put it under the running tap, and just watch the magic. Let the tap be at the highest peak of it. It will pour into, and all the mud after some times would be out,
Come on.
and the glass is going to carry the clean water.
Right.
The only problem is when people want help, sometimes I think even you have monitored this, people are looking for spoon feeding. No spoon feeding. Be ready to jump and have the trust. So the very first thing that you need to do is whatever kachra unfortunately you have in you which you feel, you have to first throw that out to install something new. If your phone says that done it is now, no image, nothing can be downloaded, take some apps out. You cannot blame the apps. So you need to work first on that. And it's a humble request to all the trainers and choice wallet trainers and situational trainers, all kind of trainers. With due respect, when such candidates reach out to you, don't make them go scared. Don't make them feel that abhi you see you don't know, it will take a lot of time, or the other way around, oh within 3 months I'm going to do this magic, give us the chance, and within 3 months nothing would be done. The only thing is the student, the one who came without the confidence is going to walk with a rebellious nature, that nothing is working in this world. So the very first thing is make that student come out with different ideas. Ideas basically means, if like for example, let's see, one of my students, he is somebody who can do anything which you call it as notorious, monstrous. So what I do, I give him the topics like that. And you won't believe Anshuman, he doesn't stop. He doesn't know where it's supposed to. So sometimes if somebody is coming to you, you have to work like a restaurant. Serve, have some menu. You cannot always go with porridge. There are no patience. So this
Correct.
is what I feel. That is what I said initially also. Go to the level of the students.
Got it.
Then it will be easy for you to impart the confidence that you have in them. That's what I
Right.
felt.
Perfect. So I believe before even going for learning, there is a mindset shift is being required for anyone who is just coming.
Exactly.
Correct? You talked about just
Yes.
picking the things which are being just filled in your mouth, in your mind. You'll have
Yes.
to just take these things and take it out, and that's where you can learn the things pretty
Yes.
well. Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. And now let's talk about the language learning, ma'am, because now people have this mindset. All right, they are pretty well that now no matter what, until unless they say this, I even personally do not, encourage those things to learn and jump into the direct learning anything because it will take your commitment. I will tell you a path. I will give
Yes.
you a direction, boss. You'll have to walk your own way. Otherwise, I'll be just improving my own English, right?
Yes.
So, if
Yes.
someone has already now decided, ma'am, suppose that they have this commitment, all right, no matter what will happen, I will learn this language. So, what would be your first step to understand? I got this fact that probably you'll ask a couple of probing questions to understand their level so that you can match there. You can try to make them comfortable. But what after that? Would you rather follow the conventional method, LSRW rule, or would you rather have some special technique to actually tell them where they can essentially better at speaking because they wanted to be a better speaker?
Yes. Exactly. So see, when we talk about listening, writing, speaking, and reading, right?
Mhm.
If you remember, Anshuman, when we were kids, our teachers used to say, stand up and read a passage. But you tell me one thing, in that only one student was reading a passage. Let's say there are 30 students in a class. One is reading. So that means, do you think that the teacher want one to be the reader?
No.
No. Actually, the teacher wanted the broader aspect. One is the reader, the 29 are the listeners. Are you
Correct.
getting? And in this 29, there will be out of 29, there will be at least 15 whom you would see they are mumbling something while seeing there. You have to find those mumbling part of flow. So whenever, let's say for example, Anshuman has come to Roma that I really want to be in this language. How should I go with it? I would say now what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak in English and I'll understand your level and I will go with that level of English. For example, when I have to say it is pretty critical to elucidate when I'm into you, right? Rather knowing that your level is a little down, I would say it is difficult to make you understand what is right and what is wrong. Now, somewhere you are getting an idea, okay, fine, I can understand her. So, the first thing is make them listen, but without telling them that you are making them listen. You just speak in English, and somewhere you are going to, has it ever not happened to you that you were sitting in your drawing room and all of a sudden you could smell something very good prepared by your neighbors, and all of a sudden your mood swing is that, you know what, I'm not going to have the regular food, I'm going to have something like this.
Yes.
You need to make that cuisine so good, you need to make it so enticing, you need to make it so yum that the students are like, okay. And this will only begin, the first sign is, everyone out there, please try it. When your students say that I want to be in this language, but ma'am, I cannot speak, you start speaking them in English, and the base English, and give them the liberty that you speak in Hindi. It's okay with me. You speak in your language. I'm going with English. So later on, you won't believe this 100% of Hindi or whatever language it is. It will then become 95, because somewhere in between the student is going to use the fillers. And ma'am, then because then, and the person is not even knowing. And once you catch that 20% out of 100, there is the time when you introduce, now let's start with something and the base form. Whenever you go for any like basically this language of English, please don't go with noun, collective noun, proper noun. Don't do this, don't torture the students out there. They're not looking for this. You need to understand, they need to learn how to speak. They are not going to appear for an examination that they're asking for. So in that case, you have to just make them understand the subject and predicate, break the sentence, and make them understand via the body, the human body, the face and the body. The same is with the sentence. Make it so clear. And whenever you're giving any example, let the example be somewhere from the room itself. Like what I do is, let's say if Anshuman is my student, I would say, Anshuman, I want you to make only 5 sentences, and you have to look into your room and you have to make it. And you'll be like, ma'am, one chair, one mirror, one, and then I would say, why don't you add there is? Now there is one chair. Now you don't even know, the student is not into there is. The student is more about looking what is there in the room.
Correct.
So when you play with it, you never know when the student is already into it. And sometimes, with their help and with their, permission, record them and send them a surprise. And they say to them, this is who you are. I don't know why are you and what are you hiding of. They having their own introduction is good. So first the subject and predicate, followed by the tenses for sure. And in tenses, simple past tense, perfect categories, only these are to be managed more. Rest, we hardly talk about it. And please focus on phrases rather than making the things boring. Rather saying them, I am coming, you are going, I am sitting, you are standing, you are doing. Make it very clear, I'm here. What about you? I will be there in a moment. Make them, and how will they learn? So simple it is. I don't know why Anshuman people don't get it. Just speak to them. They'll get it. Because I'm so sorry if I'm using this example, but I really mean it. And this is what I say to my students also. None of us and none of our families ever teach us abusive languages.
Correct.
But we all unfortunately know about it. Speak it, and they get it. These are the students. Love you all to all, everybody out there who's listening. So
Amazing.
yes, this is how it is. And before that, Anshuman, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to you, when you're seeing somebody speaking in English, what do you monitor in them?
That's it. So somewhere I'm also onto the same page where somebody comes to me and I literally wanted to understand what they're expecting from me, because I generally find people have their different primary goals. Somebody wanted to be better at they have already a job, they wanted to be in leadership position.
Right,
So they need some kind of authority while they speak so that other people can listen. And sometime I get beginner, they actually don't know how to frame sentence. So again, I
right.
can pretty much resonate with that fact, but until unless we can understand what people is standing on, we can never ever give them. It is very generic. So that's why I call it diagnostic session. Before even going to tell the people, I
Yes.
diagnose people. That's how a doctor do, right? Though I'm not a doctor yet, I'm an engineer by profession, but I love to diagnose people in terms of asking more and more questions. to know more better
Mhm.
so that I can actually tell them what they're missing rather than just, putting the things what I do have from my side. So kind of monitoring I do, I ask basic question, what is your primary goal? Where do you feel you're really struggling? Some of the time, we never ask them upfront that where you're struggling. We try to, just figure it out by our own self. And I believe sometimes
Yes.
they might be wrong, they might not be, but we should actually ask those things. And I find this thing pretty relevant that 80% of the time people know where they're lagging. Maybe they don't know how to just navigate. They
Right.
just caught up with some other thing. So majority of time I try to understand their problem and then go deeper with how I can help them with to sort of fix that. Yeah. And people after I feel, ma'am, because I will go very specific, they would rather can see the changes in them because now they know that where they are focusing on. So that once they get the
Right.
direction, they actually know that these things can be measured and they can improve. So yeah, that's what pretty much I observed in them.
So that means initially what I said, the restaurant and the menu, you took the clinic and diagnose.
Correct.
So we are dealing with the same patient, but professions different, right?
Correct. By a diagnostic method and
Okay.
maybe by a restaurant. That's the harmony of this thing, right? That's why I love the way
Yes.
you're articulating. I can pretty much say that if students are there watching you, they can definitely resonate with the thought because I would like to know your opinion on that. Once you said something very generally, but I actually understand the root cause or the psychology behind this. Once you say that I literally go on to their level, I would never have been thought this way because today you just put me there in that situation where I started thinking why this thing is happening that way. So the point is, once we go onto the people label, they started knowing that this person is relatively like me, right? Otherwise, if we just saw a perfect thing, that's what happens in social media. People used to use fake accent, people used to have some fancy vocabulary,
Yes.
which essentially do not need
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of general communication just to impress, like Sasi Tharoor Royal English. And I
Yes.
literally don't
Yeah.
know that why people use it in terms of general communication, just to impress
Right.
another one, rather than just
Right.
expressing their thought. So I believe
Right.
if someone can see that if this person, having said that they do have mastered this language, they're training people, they still commit mistake. That's why I often commit, mistakes in front of maybe sometimes consciously or unconsciously too, but I very okay with that because that's what people would
Mm.
know that if he or she is committing mistake, what the hell if I commit the mistake? That's pretty much okay, right? And I
Exactly.
believe that's where you
Exactly.
also make other people feel comfortable about, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. Because when we talk about the very first thing, see, before you learn any language now, first you have to fight your own confidence. Because the hesitation, as I told you, when many of the times when my students say to me, "Ki, ma'am, I have it till here. I mean, I have it here, but I don't know how to throw that." I'm like, it's not that you can't throw it from here. This and this, it has just got blocked. And this blockage has to get open, but bro, there is no master key of it. We are going to try all the keys one by one, let's say which is yours. So this is the thing of patience, what I feel like. It's absolute patience. And a teacher and a trainer, by choice and by situation, as you said. Please stop. This is what I keep saying to them. Like, genuinely speaking, try to understand the one who has come to you has definitely brought all of it. That finally, that because if that student or client is sitting before you, that means the first level of hesitation is already crossed.
Correct.
Respect, they can go for the second one, rather saying to the person that, oh, it's miracle, we are going to do miracle without, like, don't give them that hope. Don't make them hopeful, but not hopelessly hopeful. Let them understand that it's a problem that will definitely take a little time. Definitely, this is how it goes. And please don't impress anybody out there. Don't impress anyone. Matlab, just don't. Just express yourself. Let people manage. Express yourself. That's it. It has to be that clear. Don't impress. I don't like this word, impressing people. I
Perfect.
don't want to impress anybody.
That's where the thing gets started. Once they break that fear, I won't care what people will
Yes.
think. That's where they started learning the thing,
Yes.
right? Perfect.
That
Perfect.
is what my students say to me, that ma'am, I really don't know, but you have that. You bring out that fire. Yes, I work on that. I really work on the first. I want my students to be like, you must have heard that line, teacher is a burning candle. It gives light to the others. All right, to hell with this. It's nothing like that. A teacher has to be a power station. She or he has to be that way. That doesn't matter how many vehicles are there. I have a lot for every tank. You have to decide how far you have to go. This is how it exactly works for me.
I can feel that energy in you. I can definitely say
See?
that. Perfect, perfect. Now, moving forward, I would like to understand one thing what people do have very common myth about the grammar that they always wanted have this misconception. They have now basic confidence, they can talk. But they, before even speaking, they have overjudged themselves. What if my grammar goes wrong? Because they're a beginner, they might have commit their here and mistakes. So from the sphere of disqualifying themselves, they cannot being that much confident. So what's your take on that? How would you tell them to just be better at okay, or maybe whatsoever language, whatsoever level of grammar they do have, they are comfortable with that, and probably it will come with the time.
See, in this category, we have two groups, right?
Okay, okay.
Group number one, those who are not at all into this language.
Hmm,
Let's say they are working in a good company, but still there is nobody speaking in English. They're talking in Hindi. When they have to go to boss, they're speaking in English. And that also one or two lines coming back. The child is studying in an English medium school, but the child only knows, ma'am, can I go for a washroom and can I have water? Though it is an English medium school. So it's the point is the first group that I'm talking about is they just want, they have it in them. And that hesitation that we're talking about, it is stopping them.
correct.
They have it, they know it. But because they don't speak, because see, I'll tell you a very, very beautiful thing about these people. Let's say, for example, Anshuman is a student, right? Now Anshuman says to me, ma'am, I am not to like I can understand, but I can't speak. So and when I speak, I feel like as if my grammar is going wrong. And what if people laugh at me? And oh, what if I'm like if I sound stupid, I'm like it's about the basically it's about Izzat ka sawal kind of a tagline, the heavy lines that they use. So now here the concept, the very first concept that you will see over here is now कि even if you make them learn, that is what I make them understand. Okay, fine, I'll make you learn, but you're going to be in the same friends, you will be in the same family, you will be in the same society. Nobody will allow you to speak. No, not at all. You just cannot. You just can't. And every time you cannot go for shopping for M&M and Mango and H&M, where you can be like, you have to speak in English. So you have to be your own institution. First of all, you need to first swallow the reality what you are into. It doesn't matter you are millennial, doesn't matter you are Gen Z or Alpha, doesn't matter. It's all about your surroundings will never ever change. You dare speak to your friends in English, dare, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
They are going to give you such mirror, you would be ashamed of yourself. So the concept is the first group, there just the hesitation is the problem. It's not the grammar. And for them, you just have to be very first thing, very first thing that you have to say to them, don't touch a pen, don't have a copy, don't do anything. Just sit over there, let's talk. You cannot go for a washroom, you cannot have water. Just let's just talk, right? But in that case, it is sheer your responsibility. Take the topics which are not for you, which is for that student. Make them go relatable and stop taking the topics like online, offline, joint family, nuclear family. Please grow up. There are n number of things that you can ask a student or a client. Second are the ones those who are really struggling. Let's say a person who is working in an office is working on a good designation, but just because of this English speaking, the things are not growing. Or a person like I'll give you an example of the client I had. There was a gentleman age 62, and he said to me that, ma'am, could you make me learn English? And that made me go like, because he was not only a confusion for me but also a challenge, like 62, boss, how does it matter? I'm like, why? And the reason he gave me, I was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted, shocked. This is no fancy word, it's very normal word. Okay. So he said to me that my son, he is in UK, and his son, my grandson, He's growing up now, but he can't speak in Hindi.
Okay.
And I can't speak in English. So I want some midway out. Now, with such clients, I cannot go with grammar, tenses, and all. There, only the emotions and hesitation blockage works. But for the ones, those we are talking about, ma'am, my promotion is stuck. Ma'am, my visa is not being there because I want to go to some other place. With there, you have to start with the proper procedure. Procedure, what do they want? Where are they lagging? I'll give you an example of examination called IELTS. Very few people know about PTE, but people know about IELTS more. Why? Because we have too much of noise of our IELTS, no? That is why people know about it. So now in this one, people are like, there are again 4 modules, and people think that the toughest one is speaking. And trust me, the duration of speaking is the shortest one. The duration itself says that please, this is not the toughest one. Go for the others which you're looking for. So when you're going with the students or the clients, you need to, as you told us, the diagnose.
Correct.
With that 62 years old gentleman, first I had to ask him that this Saturday when you will talk to him, what are you going to talk to? Let's work on that. And I'll be giving such things which are going to get related to the others as well. That means strings attached. This is going to work for him. For the student, those who already know, but they have a hesitation, I'll throw that hesitation out of it, but slowly and gradually. How can it be? Like, let's say if a student who is very shy, and I'm just sitting over there, we are at the cam, like the cam is on, and the student is like, yes ma'am, what to speak, what should I say, what I say, you don't have to say anything. I'm getting so nervous meeting for you for the very first time. No ma'am, why would you? Maine kaha, don't judge me. If you are panicking this much, mine is more. That is why most of the time I turn my camera off, but today I've turned it on, so I'm feeling nervous. Then ma'am, but you two are grown up, you like, and the moment you get that smile, catch it.
Correct.
And it works. But when it comes to books and grammars, this is what I feel, Anshuman, and I really rely and I really work on that. Books are for teachers, it's not for students. Books are complicated so that a teacher goes through it and makes it in the simplest way that it could be possibly done. And then you have to go with it. Let's say if Anshuman says, my preposition is wrong, so I cannot make you speak, like keep speaking. In between prepositions will be there. Then I have to give you some of the things like, if I give you an example that मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा है, and I say to you how to say that English, so you'll be having many options for it. Ma'am, I'm not getting. Ma'am, it's not popping. Ma'am, nothing is churning. Ma'am, it's all numb. And trust me, a teacher might have 2 or 3 sentences, but when you talk to 10 students now, you get 8 to 9. So
Correct.
many of the times you have to understand that diagnose and the menu card that I was talking.
Okay.
Give them their recipe, Anshuman. Let them, but yes, you have to tell them, have a little go and then have it. Don't be in a hurry. And students, please, it's a big, take it as a sweet warning. Don't dare ask the trainers that, ma'am, 1 month I can do something. Okay, don't do this, Bakwas. Don't do this. If you really want that change, give us a little time. This is how
Perfect.
exactly it works. It depends from person to person. Some
Perfect.
needs to put that out. This. And sometimes you really need to sit with them, understand them. Because Anshuman, you know what? Even I think you would believe that every candidate has a history. Every candidate has a history. And when they come to you now, and if you ask them what made you come, so 99.9% they have a majburi. There is no choice. So you need to understand their bicharo ka wo that majburi. Because I very rare it happened that the students say, ma'am, I wanted to. Nahi. Ma'am, this examination I'm unable to crack. Ma'am, I'm unable to have this visa of this Australia or something. Ma'am, I need to talk to some. My interview is pending. They have a reason. Find out the reason and then go.
Got it, ma'am. And
This is what
sorry
works.
to interrupt you in between. We have already talked for more than half an hour, and the time is gonna to be end within a minute. But I really like the conversation. There were so many things to talk about. So probably we're gonna have one more session around the IELTS only, wherein we're gonna talk more specifically
Okay.
about how someone can be, if someone is just being learning this language or wanted to just attempt this IELTS or PT, we'll just talk about that. But I really love the conversation, the way you just, figured out everything in a very crisp, shorted manner and told by the examples. I really love that.
Can you listen? Can you listen back?
Yes, yes, of course, it is coming from energy.
And thank you so much, because while talking to you, I felt as if I'm talking to myself at the other way around. So it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Sure. Likewise, ma'am. Looking forward to connect you again. Yep. Bye bye.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.